I know what y'all are thinking. Torian again? Yeah, like I tell you, Tiny Terry makes it very easy for me to talk about him and his antics because everything that he does is so predictable. And I feel like out of all of the people that I'd give a bed bucking Hall of Shame entry to, whether they are new or in his case a vet, he is the only one that has to get a disclaimer like I just gave about 5 seconds into this video. So the reason why I'm talking about Tiny Terry again is because yet again, let me just say this. I don't go in search of anything on any of his posts because I don't follow him, but they for somehow, some way end up on my timeline or in my line of sight. And it's like, here he go again. But this was going to be interesting. Trust me on that. So Tiny Terry decided he was going to dig up something from his archives, and this time it's with him imitating Karrine Jean Pierre. If you don't remember her, and I don't know how you would if you did, she was the press secretary under the Biden administration, and I didn't really care for her that much, like many people didn't, but it is what it is. But in this video, but I'm not playing the video, this is just a screenshot. This is him dressed up again, imitating another black woman. You know, he loves to do Jasmine Crockett. That's like his favorite impersonation. He did Michelle Obama, and occasionally he would do Karrine Jean Pierre. Now, this is an old video. This is not new because this is during the Biden administration. And he reposted this and he left a caption. Let's see what the caption says. It says Karrine Jean Pierre, who wore it best? And he loves to always ask his audience, who wore it best? As in, did this actual naturally born black woman wear it better? Or did me, the one who's imitating a black woman and masquerading it as comedy, wear it better? And of course, his mainly white audience clapping like circus seals and laughing like Goofy from Goof Troop think that he wore it better, and they think it's so hilarious. He goes on to say she was the dumbest press secretary ever, and she's even dumber to think we are going to support her because she's leaving the Democratic Party, according to her new book. For years, it's funny that he talks about her new book when he tries to peddle out a book that nobody hardly reads. At least somebody's reading her book. And apparently you must have read some of her book too to know that she's leaving the Democratic Party. How would you even know that unless you got like a transcript, a small little summary of it? He said for years, she strutted as the White House's swarmy or snarky mouthpiece, force feeding America a steaming heap of bull about Biden's failing health and mental meltdown. And of course, like I said, he could have just left that as a comment right there, take out the who wore best and not put up the video of him pretending to be her. But again, he loves to dress up and imitate that of a black woman who's in a position higher than he ever could be in and wishes he could be in. I think at the end of the day, for Tiny Terry, it's a hint of jealousy there that he can't get into the position to be near the Trump administration like he wish he could be. So he has to do stuff like this to get the attention of the minions. Because he's not going to get the attention of Trump except for when there's other black people in the setting, because he's not even just going to have Tiny Terry there as the quote unquote black friend or the one black guy. It has to be a collective of black people for Tiny Terry to get near or around or in the vicinity of Trump. Because he'll never get close to him to be just like, hey, I know him. That's why he always peddles that picture of him standing on a stack of phone books at the podium while Trump is sitting in the background smiling. And even then, he wasn't the only black person there. So that's why he does it. And he always says, you know, I'll cook you pancakes. And he just said it for Elon. Of course, that's not going to happen now because Elon and Trump had a falling out and Elon's technically not a part of the administration anymore. So that's done. So he keeps leaning on this. Again, everything that he does is for attention, but he does something that I've called out about him, and that is do something like this and knows that he's going to get a particular response from white people, which is them cheering him on, but he's also going to get a response from black people who are basically going to call him a bootlick because that's what he is. So then he posts stuff like this. Him promoting his business in order to get people to come to it because he knows that he's in his way, he's killing two birds with one stone. One, he's getting white people to laugh at him because they're not laughing with him, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I'm so glad I came across this. But then he also has black people that will clown him, because I saw one black person call him basically a coon right there in the post, and then you had white people under this saying that black person was being racist, or you're wrong, why are you calling him names? I'm like, y'all are so dumb, so dumb. But you know what, that's par for the course, because the person y'all support is dumb too. But this is what he said. He said, "This is triggering so many people. Calm down. I'm a comedian." And he keeps telling this lie that he's a comedian when he's definitely not one. And again, you'll see what I mean in a minute. He says, "I'm not allowed to be comedian. I'm not allowed to sell pancakes. I'm not allowed to think for myself. Y'all are crazy. Have some of my pancakes. They will make you feel better." Again, he does this to try to sell these pancakes that, again, I don't even believe are truly even owned by him. And again, when he says not allowed to be a comedian, you can be a comedian, you just have to be funny, and he's not funny. And he says, "I'm not allowed to sell pancakes." You can sell pancakes, you just can't sell them because you are a bad entrepreneur. You do not know how to market, and it's dead on arrival. And we know why you did it. He said, "I'm not allowed to think for myself." You can't think for yourself. The thing is, you don't. You do everything that your handlers tell you to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Case in point, there was a post that he made up on his Twitter yesterday, from the time of me recording this video, talking about what should the Republican Party do. Mind you, I've never seen him make a post like that before. Usually he's always doing the minstrel act, but for once he actually asked a question about the party that he's allegedly attached to. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, it's too late now. There's nothing that the Republican Party can really, or the GOP can really do. The damage is done, and at this point I don't think it can be undone, at least not right now, or at least not under this current administration. Remember, this is also the same guy that says he basically bows at the whim of Trump, and I'm just paraphrasing. Anything Trump does, he's going to agree with, and if you disagree with Trump, he's going to get on there, he's going to start talking crap about you. So yeah, he's nothing more than a mouthpiece and a mascot. And then he says, "Y'all are crazy." Tiny Terry, you're the crazy one, but you know, a lot of people who are legit crazy don't believe they're crazy. And then he tries to peddle off the pancakes that, again, no one's buying. But that's going to lead me into this part right here. This is a post right here that I came across under Tiny Terry's post that we just went over. And this part right here, it's another part, but I couldn't find it. And they said, "You're correct that Williams' self-identification as a comedian doesn't give him a license to use racially demeaning language. While he may intend his post as humor, the potential for it to reinforce harmful stereotypes or devalue black women politicians such as Crockett and Harris," and they're talking about Kamala, but you know, we don't claim her, "is significant, especially given the cultural and historical context of racial humor. Comedy can be a powerful tool, but it comes with responsibility, and Williams's post, as you've noted, may cross a line into territory that's more harmful than funny, particularly if it's not perceived as humorous to begin with. If you'd like to explore this further, this is perhaps looking at legal or ethical frameworks for comedy, or examples of comedians who critique without causing harms, let me know and I'll dive deeper." And I think this was something that was probably asked on Grok or maybe some other AI site, but I'm gonna assume that it's on Grok since it happened on here. Now, here's the moment that I've been wanting y'all to hang on to, that I kept teasing throughout the video. The person who posted this right here actually posted a clip of Tiny Terry doing this stand-up at a TPUSA event, and let me tell you, it's as cringe as it sounds. So with that being said, y'all go ahead and listen to this, and hopefully your ears and eyes don't bleed.
Y'all know when Turning Point confirmed all the speakers, they announced all the speakers, you know, Donald J. Trump Jr. is confirmed. Everybody's like, yay. Nigel's confirmed, yay. Then Charlie Kirk is confirmed. Well, don't he work for Turning Point? Why are y'all confirming Charlie? I thought he was supposed to be there already. Okay, next. Brandon Tatum is confirmed. Yay, but he worked for Turning Point. Why y'all keep confirming all the workers? That's their job. He's supposed to be there and do his job. It's the annual event. We know he gonna be there. I love Candace too. I love Candace. I love her. But Candace only.
So as you can see by that very odd and cringeworthy clip, this is him. I guess they say he's doing a roast at Turning Point USA about these people being confirmed. He talked about Charlie Kirk, fake him, and then he goes into Candace in it before it cuts off. Notice he's the loudest person in there. There's nobody really laughing at what he says. You hear a few chuckles here and there. There's nobody having gut busting laughing to the point where they feel like they about to go on themselves, if you get what I mean. I don't know if it's because it's not a lot of people in there, which if that's the case, I would not be anywhere near shocked by that. But he's just not funny. He swears up and down he's a comedian. This guy has no tour dates. No person in the comedy world knows who he is, and if they did, they probably wouldn't respect him. He's never been, as far as I know, on the Laugh Factory, which is one of the most popular comedic circuits that a lot of mainstream comedy acts have gone through before they made it big. It's like that's one of the things you got to go through before you really get to the big time. And he always does these conservative style jokes or whatever because he can't talk about anything else. That's all he knows how to talk about, and even with that he still can't talk about it properly because it's not funny. I've seen a lot of comedians do political jokes before and they've always landed every single time, but his, on the other hand, they don't. As a matter of fact, his jokes, or if he wants to call them that, don't even leave the runway strip to go into the sky for takeoff. They don't. And he thinks he's funny. He thinks putting on a dress and a wig and imitating a black woman, whether we like this black woman or not, is somehow hilarious. And the only people that's laughing at him, because again, they're not laughing with him, are other white people. They big his head up bigger than it already is. And they feel like, oh, if I have them laughing at me, then that means I must really actually be funny. No, that's not the case. I bet you a lot of the people that's online laughing at him would not even pay to go see one of his shows if he came to their city. They'd be like, oh, I'm busy that day. I'm going out of town. Oh, I have a previous engagement. Or they'll just flat out not go. They won't even have to make up a reason. Like I said, this guy is not funny. He thinks he is, and only he thinks he is, because even his so-called supporters don't believe that he's funny. They'll allow him to think that because he says things that makes them feel good. But if that wasn't the case, if they had no use for him, oh, he would have been gone like yesterday's trash. That's why a lot of us over here can't wait for him to get his wake-up call, because it's his wake-up call is probably going to go in the top 5 wake-up calls Hall of Fame. I promise you that. And we all are counting down the days until it actually happens. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.